We're going to be looking at simplifying radical exponents. So we have our expression here, and this is actually a rather complex expression. It says 4x to the power of a third, and then all of that is to the power of a half. And again, that's the idea of the third root, and this is the idea of a square root, multiplied by 9x to the power of negative 3 over 2. And all of that is divided by 27x to the power of negative 1 over 3. So a lot of radical values here. We're going to start by multiplying in our exponents of each of these. So we're going to do that in each of these situations. So we'll start with the 4x for a moment. First set, and we'll work with that in a different colored brackets here. Okay, so here's our expression here. We have our 4 and we have our x, that is the power of a third. Okay, and we have to actually bring in our half. So think of it like 4 is technically to the power of 1. And when you bring this exponent in, you're going to multiply it by each of the other exponents. So it's like 1 times a half and then a third times a half. Okay, so all of that is the first expression. In the second expression, I'll do it in green. Same idea. 9 is technically to the power of 1, so you're multiplying it by negative 3 over 2. And then the x in the expression is technically to the power of 1, so you're also multiplying that by negative 3 over 2. And then finally, on the bottom here, same idea. Let's do it in blue. We have 27 is technically to the power of 1, so you're technically multiplying it by negative 1/3. And the x is technically to the power of 1, so you're multiplying that by negative 1/3. Okay. So let's simplify what we read here. So I'll write this in black now. So we have 4 to the half, which essentially is the square root of 4. So we're going to read that value as 2. Okay, and here we're going to have x to the power of, and we're just going to multiply the fractions, so you get 1 over 6. Okay, is our first bracket. Our second bracket, because this is a negative, it's going to become 1 over. Okay, we're inverting. Technically, that was 9 over 1. To make a negative a positive exponent, we make it 1 over, so we invert the fraction, so 1 over 9 to the power of 3 over 2. Okay, the 3 over 2, the bottom half, okay, think of it as a half, is the square root of 9. So square root of 9 is equal to 3. So square root of 9 is 3. And then we still have to the power of 3. So 3 to the power of 3 is 27. So this value here, this new coefficient, is the number 27. And the x, we can't really simplify from where it is, so we leave it as to the power of negative 3 over 2. And then finally, on the bottom, same idea. Oh, sorry, I did make an error here. And technically, because these are both negative, we're going to make it all positive. Okay, and to make this positive, oh, that's not 39. X to the power of 3 over 2. This is technically all underneath the value of 1. Remember how we said to make it positive, we invert everything. So that was 1 over 9, and the same idea with the x, make it 1 over x. So we've just kind of put it all together. Here's same concept happening. We're going to make it 1 over 27 to a third. So the third root of 27 is actually the value of 3. And again, the x, it's a negative, so we'll make it positive, x to the power of a third. So here are all of our values now. Okay, so now we're going to start putting things together. I'm just going to focus on the top part of our fraction, and it's a whole number times another fractional number. So I'm just going to work with that to start. Okay, we'll work with that in the color, let's say green. Okay, so this is technically says 2x to the 6th multiplied by 1 over 27 x power of 3 over 2. Okay, well, because it's multiplying fractions, top by top, bottom by the bottom. Okay, so again, we'll leave it in green. And you're going to end up with 2x to the power of 1/6 over 27 x to the power of 3 over 2. Okay, so think of these values as coefficients. I could divide them and maybe get 1 over 13.5, but we really won't want a decimal value, so we'll leave it as 2 over 27. Our x is here. Because the bases are the same, we can subtract the fractions. So in our fraction, you technically have x 1/6 subtract 3 over 2. We need a common denominator, so it becomes 1/6 minus, and we top and bottom by 3, so 9 over 6. This gives us negative 8 over 6, which you can reduce to negative 4 over 3. So this now top becomes 2 over 27, and because it's negative, we're going to put it on the bottom of the fraction to keep it positive, and it's x to the power of 4 over 3. Okay, now that was just the top. This is still all divided by, remember, all this is divided by the bottom here, 1 over a third over 3x to the third here. Okay. Now, when we're dividing fractions, we invert our fraction and make it a multiplication question. We'll write this in black again. So you get 2 over 27 x to the power of 4 over 3 times, we invert this, so 3x to the third over 1. Multiplying fractions, so top by top, bottom by the bottom, we get 6x to the third over 27x to 4 over 3. And we'll focus on just the x's again. This becomes x 1/3 minus 4 over 3, which gives us x to the power of, x to the power of negative 3 over 3, which is negative 1. That's the power of negative 1. To make the negative positive, we just put the x on the bottom. Okay. And we can reduce our coefficients here. We can divide both of them by the value of 3. 6 divided by 3 gives us 2. 27 divided by 3 gives us the value of 9. And we said we'd put x on the bottom to make it positive, so we finally get 2 over 9x as our final simplified version. Quite a long process to simplify this complicated radical exponent.